Alright, so I have to talk about the spoilers in this movie. And the link to my spoiler free review is in the description. Get over there, watch that video, go see the movie, and then come on back and jump to this video. So that is your warning because this video is a spoiler video. So, okay, now that that's out of the way, I'm trying to think of where to start. I'm just gonna mention things that stick out in my brain. First off, I'm gonna start off with the memoriam that that Peter's high school put together, or one of his classmates put together for the fallen heroes in Avengers Endgame. Yeah, the way it was put together, and with the weird choice of a song for that memoriam, it was just like either it's gonna make you laugh and just help help you laugh during a time where you should be crying, or maybe you're just gonna flat out cry during that memoriam. One or the other, I don't know. But me in that theater we were giggling like that is a random ass choice of a song that they chose. Random ass choice. Like Whitney Houston, I Will Always Love You. I'm like, oh my gosh. But when it was clarified that it was one of the students, like in Peter's high school, it was like, okay, cool. And I liked also how it touched base on how almost half, how half of Peter's classmates ended up being snapped away in Infinity War. And then you see that when they come back 5 years later, they're the same exact age that they were, right before the snaps happened in Infinity War. And they do touch base on that quite a bit. Like, you remember when this guy was a few years younger? Now my youngest brother is about older than me now. Like I like how they touch base on that, and they kind of joke around with it a little bit. And I also like how I do like how Mysterio was portrayed in this movie. I mean, the way they only showed him as they don't the marketing only showed the Mysterio how Mysterio wanted to present himself to Spider-Man and to Nick Fury. Saying okay, I'm from another Earth. I'm part of the multiverse, and I'm here to stop a threat that is from another Earth. And yada yada yada. I like how they just focused on that in the marketing, and then when you see in the movie, it is all total bullshit. The elemental monsters or whatever they're called, that's all special effects. That's all part of Mysterio's scheme, just to really make himself look like a hero. And he tricked Spider-Man into giving him what Tony Stark left for him. His little his tech glasses or whatnot. Mysterio tricked Spider-Man into giving him that, and that's the last thing that he needed. And I liked how brilliantly that was executed. I mean, I thought it was done really well. I mean, I was hoping that that's what will happen. I was hoping that this was a legit Mysterio, and there's no multiverse, at least not yet, and it's just him pulling a fast one on us, just tricking our main hero along with everybody else. I was like, yes. When that actually unfolded, I was like, yes. And also, I do like how Spider-Man wears different suits in this movie. Usually, if it were up to me, it would just be the typical red and blue. But I have to say, and the different choices, including the Iron Spider suit and the stealth suit, and when he is in that stealth black suit, they call him Night Monkey. And because he doesn't want people to know that Spider-Man is there, and they don't want to put two and two together. So that's pretty funny. And I have to say, I do like the suit that he wears at the very end, in the third act of the movie. I'm like, okay, that's a pretty damn cool suit. It's like a more updated version of what we saw in Homecoming. You know what I mean? That's a more updated version of that. And also, I love how I'm trying to think of what else. Oh, okay. I'm gonna jump right to this. I'm gonna be bouncing around in these spoilers. I do love how, like, the whole time with Nick Fury and Maria Hill, it turned out to be Skrulls. At least, I think through the entire time. And then we find out at the very end in the end credit scene, and then we see that Nick Fury was like just chilling with the rest of the Skrulls the entire time. I would assume like he was never there during that whole time because, you know, Nick Fury doesn't get easily outsmarted, and he was pretty easily outsmarted, and the reason for that it's because it was the Skrulls. It wasn't Nick Fury or Maria Hill or Shield. It was just the Skrulls. I'm like, okay. I had a feeling we weren't going to see the last of them, so it was pretty cool to see them make a cameo like in this movie. And I do like the chemistry between Peter and MJ. They do have pretty good chemistry. I will give them that. But I don't know. I mean, the whole thing saying like, oh, she's not MJ, but she is MJ, and this and that. I mean, why can't she just be her own character if she's not Mary Jane? You know? But that, I mean, I'm just gonna leave it as that. And I felt like in Spider-Man: Homecoming, it was a missed opportunity to at least mention Uncle Ben. I get that they're trying to, you know, like follow that rule where we don't say his name or we don't see him or none of that. That's a pretty dumb rule in my opinion, but I'm not saying we need to follow it step by step, beat by beat, but just have brief little flashbacks. I mean, that's part of what we love about Spider-Man and his story. I mean, Uncle Ben is a very big part of that story. I mean, if anything, I think he's the one person who put, you know, like that would, you know, like that's like his voice of reason. That's like his motivation to push him towards being the hero that we all know and love. You know, like just by losing him, that pushed him to be a hero. You know, I mean, that's something I felt like they didn't need to pull away. You know, but if they were to address that just for a brief moment in Homecoming and not really even bother mentioning it at all in this movie, I would have accepted that. But at the same time, with what happened, you know, like, you know, considering from the loss of Iron Man, spoiler warning of Avengers Endgame, yeah, I told you the key word is spoilers in this video. You know, like, but from that loss, that would force Peter to think about how he lost another important father figure in his life, you know, and that helps him push towards, you know, like this journey in this second movie. But I mean, you know, they don't go in that direction, so okay, cool, okay. And I gotta say, in the mid-credit scene, where we get to see, not only was it a holy shit moment, but what really started as a holy shit moment for me is when you see J. Jonah Jameson, not only J. Jonah Jameson, but J.K. Simmons reprising his role as the character. It's like, wow, I mean, like, I thought that would be like something in the back of our minds, like, they're not gonna pick him again. I mean, it's gotta be somebody else since it's another incarnation. It's a reboot, yada yada yada. But nope, they brought him back, you know, like as a cameo as that character. And I loved how he's just in there in all of his J. Jonah Jameson glory, like, Spider-Man's a criminal, blah, 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 blah. I mean, it was great. It was great. And not only that, but, and at the very end, like, before Mysterio was killed, like, where he made a video saying, this is gonna happen, and then he reveals Spider-Man's identity, and then, like, I think at least the whole New York City, you know, saw that, okay, so Spider-Man is Peter Parker, and it's like, holy fuck, like, what happens now? And I love how this movie makes the spider sense, or as the, you know, as characters call it, the Peter tingles. very relevant in this movie, like where he really has to really focus on that and just own it, and he does that really well in this movie. And one moment I really loved is where how how Mysterio would try to trick Peter, and he does trick Spider-Man a lot successfully in this movie. And one of the few times that he doesn't is where he's talking to a wounded Mysterio, and then right before the real Mysterio could pull the trigger on Spider-Man, I mean, his spider sense, like that came into play beautifully. I'm like, whoa, oh, what just happened? What? Oh, I thought that was impressive, and I loved how it felt like it was from our perspective, like how in like usually like when it comes to his spidey senses, it's almost like we are Spider-Man. We can hear it in our heads, like you know what I mean? Like whenever like a danger is around. I mean, like, but here in this movie, we don't do that. I mean, like, we just have to sort of see him react. You know what I mean? So I thought that was done really well. But I can't think of really any other spoilers that stuck out to me. I thought the movie was a fun, entertaining movie, and I thought those spoilers that I put out there, they were done pretty well for the most part. And I had to mention Happy Hogan, having those little moments like where he picks up a shield. I'm like, what? Let me guess. He's gonna try to throw the shield like Captain America, and then it doesn't work. It just falls flat on the floor, and he's like, how does Cap do that? I'm like, that is so funny. I love that. I love moments like that. But yeah, I mean, if there's any spoilers that I failed to mention, feel free to tell me in the comment section. I guess the cat's out of the bag about Aunt May, knowing that Peter Parker is Spider-Man, and she seems totally fine with it now. Okie dokie. Alright. I think it was a matter of time, like there was like years and years and years where she didn't know he was Spider-Man. I guess they wanted to try to, I get it. It was bound to happen sooner or later where she was gonna know. Whether it was going to be in the movie, or in the show, or in the comic. I mean, I know it did happen in one of the comics. I think it was in Civil War, if I'm not mistaken. But, I mean, yeah, I mean, it's I had no expectations in that. I was like, oh, okay, so she knows that he's Spider-Man. Alrighty. But yeah, I mean, like I said, if I failed to mention any spoilers in this video, feel free to point them out. And if you guys enjoyed my spoiler video, make sure you thumb up this video. And make sure you click subscribe if you're new to the channel. And click that notification bell so you can be updated on my latest videos. Thank you for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video. Later, guys.